broaden our minds. Lawrence?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Free Talk Podcast. How's it going, everybody? That's right, we're going to get into SnyderVerse obsession. It needs to end. The SnyderVerse obsession, it just needs to end. It's getting out of hand, guys. It's absurd. It's absurd. We had yet again another ridiculous rumor started this weekend, and well, we have to address it. So that's going to be our main topic for today. But there's a plethora of other news that dropped over the last week that I want to discuss with all of you. I do. I think it's interesting. I think it's going to be fun. So let's get into this show. What's going on, guys? Hey, there's some people already here. Thank you for joining. How's it going? I tell you what, it's been a week. All of you who joined last Wednesday, if you're back, thank you very much. If you're new to the show, the way this show works, specifically on Mondays are a little bit different than the midweek show. Mondays, we cover a few different topics. We have newsworthy topics the first, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the show. And then after those topics, we have a main topic that we discuss. And that's pretty much it. So I will cover a topic, and then after I discuss the topic, then there's an open discussion about that topic for a few minutes, and then I move on to the next topic. Feel free to leave your comments. I do appreciate if you leave a super chat to support the channel. You could also become a member of the channel for $2.99 a month for little super stickers and stuff like that you get. We also now have merch that you can pick up and so on and so forth. So with all that said, let's move on to the first topic. That is right. The first topic of the day is the Venom trailer dropped. Another Venom trailer for The Last Dance, the third Venom movie. Look, I don't know about all of you. I am not a fan of the Venom films. I'm not. I'm not a fan of the films. I thought the first one was easily one of the, if not the worst superhero comic book movie films in the last 15 years. The second one was really bad as well. It fixed a lot of the issues that the first one had, but it was still a terrible film. So I'm not looking forward to this one. And I'm not gonna, I'll throw the trailer kind of on a little bit here. It's so bad. It looks terrible. It doesn't even look all that exciting and fun. And the disappointing thing about this trailer, I'm going to say, is that they're bringing in Null, and that is a character that was recently introduced. I want to say maybe 4 years ago. He's a relatively new character that could be really, really cool, yet he's going to be utilized terribly. Look how terribly they utilize Carnage, which is an awesome character, and they treated him like crap in the last movie and utilized him like crap in the last movie. I'm just not looking forward to this. I think it's going to be just a terrible, terrible movie, just like they've pretty much done with all of these. I guess it just doesn't want to load. I do want to look at some of these comments that people are putting here. The Venom and Eddie, this relationship is like no other Marvel Sony universe. And they cry, come on. It's terrible. It's not even good. It's not even funny. I don't get it. What do you guys think about this? Like, have you enjoyed this trilogy so far? I don't understand the hype, the excitement around it. I don't get it. I've not understood this hype. I could get it if you're a 12-year-old. Like my kids, my sons really enjoyed it. And looking at it through their eyes, sure, I could see it. But I don't get it. I don't understand it. Here, like this guy says, Levi on Twitter says, hope they don't waste Null like they did with Carnage. Exactly. They ruined Carnage. They wasted Carnage. I won't say they ruined it, but they wasted Carnage. So we really went 3 movies without seeing Venom versus Spider-Man. Yeah, pretty much. That's what they did. Is this a Venom fish? Exactly. Now they're just getting ridiculous. Like, we're going to have a Venom horse, a Venom fish, a Venom this. Enough is enough. The one thing that Venom needs is to have Spider-Man, and they haven't given it to us. And it's just, come on. Ain't no way they're bringing Null into this right off the bat. Look, I don't know. Like, this is... am I the only Venom fan here? So many haters for this movie, but I really liked it. Waiting for the release. Yeah. No way Venom bit that guy's head off. This movie will be amazing. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand the craze, but I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this? Anybody here saying anything? Nobody's here saying anything about Venom. So I guess we can move on from this topic because nobody wants to discuss it. I guess you all agree with me. Like, come on, look, there's somebody saying this is peak. Real movies are finally returning. Look at this. Look how ridiculous and stupid this looks. I don't know. I know there's precedent for it in the comics. I can't. Here we go. We got somebody here that says something. Thank you, Cubistic. Cubistic says, the Venom movie will make bank guaranteed if they have Spider-Man or Spider-Man 4 tie-in. And that's the thing. People are sitting here. Then you see people like My Time to Shine. I think it was them. You know, the burner for Grace Randolph. That's the rumor, but I don't think it really is. And it was saying like, Null's going to be the villain in Spider-Man 4. They're just making crap up now. This is what they're really doing. It's just ridiculous. Cozy Lion says, enjoy Venom more when I turn off my brain. I can't even turn off my brain with these movies because they're so ridiculous. It's so bad. I go back to the first one and I sit there and I can't, the editing and the idiocy of the story. I can't turn my brain off for it because of how bad it is all around. It is that bad. I'm sorry. Like, look, I don't want to yuck on your yum, as the saying goes. If you enjoy it, more power to you. If this movie is for you, I'm glad. I just can't. And I can't believe that we've gotten three Venom films. And we only, in that amount of time, we got one. And I know we're going to talk about why the SnyderVerse, obsession needs to end. But in that amount of time, we had one Superman movie. One. Specifically with Henry Cavill. Like, that just... And even if it isn't with Henry Cavill, I don't care. But in that amount of time, we had one Superman movie, but we had three Venom films. Like, come on. That's ridiculous. All right. Got to catch up on some things here. Critic Chris was here. Actually, he says, what's up? Lee Humphrey says, the most toxic Snyder fan is Aaron Fisher. All he does is trash talk the DCU with nothing to back up his ridiculous accusations. He shows concept art to trash new Superman, which is childish. Lee Humphreys, I don't know if you saw my video from last week, I think it was. He and I did have a talk. We sat down privately, had a talk. I'm not going to attack him at all. I disagree with what he says about James Gunn and the DCU. We've discussed a possibility of collaborating and having a discussion, a video for everybody to see. So we could discuss that at length. So hopefully that can come to fruition. Hopefully we can make that happen. But I do disagree with his takes on all of that. I do. Critic Chris says, I just watched a video of Erica Durance talking optimistic on how Gunn's Superman film pans out. Erica Durance is great. She has been a real fan and supporter of DC since she was in Smallville. She was in the Arrowverse. Don't forget, she played Supergirl's aunt, I think, in the Arrowverse? I don't remember. But she went from Smallville to that. I mean, she is a real supporter of DC, so she's great. Yusef, hey, what's going on, man? How's it going? Yusef says Minecraft will be peak cinema. Get out of here with that. The Truth 31 has come in. We have one Madam Web film and not one single Batfleck film. Make it make sense. You're not wrong about that, Truth. You're not wrong. Again, Madam Web, 3 Venom films, and 1 Superman movie in that span of time. Like, it just makes no sense to me. Cozy Line, 3 Ant-Man movies over 1 Superman movie. Again, it's absurd what happened. And we know that the DCEU, we know that Warner Brothers mishandled everything for so long. So that's why I always sit here and talk about how exciting it is to finally have a DC Studios and actually have somebody in control. That is one of the most hopeful things about the DCU and about DC Studios, is that there is somebody in control leading the ship that actually has a plan. That's why I'm so excited, because now we can sit back and say, okay, things are going to happen. That's the thing. They've killed, LOL, Critic Chris says, LOL, they killed Cavill Superman in his second appearance. Critic Chris, loved Erica Durance as Lois Lane as much as I did Terry Hatcher. Amy Adams was good too. 100% agree with all of that. Yeah, but Venom, guys, I don't know. I've checked out. I'm gonna have to watch it because, like I said, my sons, my boys are gonna want to see it because they're into it. But I tell you what, it's crazy. It is really crazy for sure. All right, let's move on here to the next topic. This one is a bit interesting. We're jumping over to Marvel for a second here, or Marvel Studios, Marvel MCU. This is a rumor from Daniel RPK stating that Marvel Studios' X-Men reboot film will reportedly not include Wolverine. And the reason for this is Hugh Jackman will continue to play the role, apparently even after Avengers Secret Wars. This is a terrible idea. I, as much as anybody, love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I mean, you think of Wolverine live action, you've got nobody else besides Henry Cavill at this point who played him for 0.6 seconds in Deadpool and Wolverine. But let's not act like there's anybody else that you really think about. But that is all the more reason why Marvel Studios, the MCU, needs to embrace getting somebody else in there. Hugh Jackman he's getting old. And I'm not saying that he's not capable of playing Wolverine for another 10, 15 years. Obviously, he did it in Deadpool and Wolverine. He absolutely, with movie magic, with stunt doubles and everything, you can absolutely make it work. The problem is, there comes a time when you just need to recast. There comes a time when you need to move on and do something new. And the fact that you're going to create an X-Men team, create a mutant saga, because that's what's rumored. Apparently, after the multiverse, when the multiverse saga ends, come 2027, 2026, 2027, when the multiverse ends in 2027, they're moving into the mutant saga. And that's where we're going to see the mutants and the X-Men come into play. So when that happens, you're not going to have a young Logan, a young Wolverine. And if you're outside of the multiverse at that point, if the multiverse is done, why are you going to have an old Logan, an old Wolverine, and then not have the ability to tell stories with a young Wolverine, a young Logan? I don't buy this completely. I don't buy this rumor completely. I just think it's a bad idea. I think that you need to get somebody younger. Again, I go back to what has happened with Star Wars. You take a look with Star Wars, they absolutely should recast Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia. They recast Han Solo. It's okay to recast those characters and tell stories when they were younger, where in those time periods where we can't tell when they're older, specifically just with Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, because they're old now. And you can't tell, you don't want to tell stories now with them being old. You want to tell stories when they're young. So recast them. People will get over it. People will be fine. Yeah, you might have a little bit of outcry for 6 months, but once that movie comes out, if you cast properly and you get a good story, people are going to buy into it and like it. I think this is a terrible move, a terrible idea if this is actually the way they're going to go, which I don't think. Look, as much as I criticize Marvel for a lot of stuff they've done over the last number of years, Kevin Feige cannot be this dumb. He cannot be this dumb. To Wolverine is such an important character to X-Men lore, to the general audience specifically. And to not have a young Wolverine, a new Wolverine in the MCU version of the X-Men is a problem. It's a huge problem. And again, Hugh Jackman has been great for the last 25 years. Absolutely. You know, give him his flowers. He's been great. He walked off into the sunset amazingly in Logan. You brought him back for Deadpool and Wolverine. It was great. Maybe we see him in Secret Wars. Sure, cool. Give him another send-off there. He doesn't need any more than that. We don't need any more of that, more than that from him. At that point, what else can he do? What else should he do? There's nothing else he needs to do. He carried that X-Men franchise for 15, 20 years. He doesn't need to carry anything else. Just let him have a little fun with Deadpool, Wolverine, and maybe Secret Wars. Get him on screen with a Spider-Man one time because that's what people want, and then move on. Give us something new. But let me know what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. All right, so what do you have to say? I've been ranting and raving here. What do you guys have to say? Aziel, what's up? He says, yeah, he was amazing, but it feels weird to have a whole new X-Men cast and to have the same actor. It would be like having Jim Carrey to play a rebooted version of The Mask. Yeah, that'd be really weird. That's a odd pull right there about The Mask. Critic Chris says, I read Wolverine will be included, but not right away. I mean, Wolverine wasn't part of the original team in the comics. Jackman's Wolverine made money. Marvel's Batman, you might say, they need to recast. Again, you're right. But if you're going to have Hugh Jackman stick around and yet the multiverse saga is over, are you still going to be playing and dabbling in the multiverse when the multiverse saga is over? So why is he sticking around? It just, I think you're playing in areas that you shouldn't be playing with is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Kevin Davis, Marvel Studios need to take a break from theatrical experience at the theaters. They already reached their peak. Well, they kind of try to, and they haven't been very successful with the TV shows, at least on a consistent basis. I mean, I enjoyed much of their, not much, as a handful of their TV shows. I wasn't a big fan of WandaVision. I know a lot of people were. I wasn't a fan of it. Honestly, probably my favorite show of theirs was Miss Marvel. I thought Iman Vellani was absolutely adorable in that show, and she really owned that role. But She-Hulk was horrendous. What else was there? I can't even remember right now. Echo was terrible. Man, I can't even think right now of the other shows. So what are you saying? They go to back to TV? I just don't think. I think they need to refocus their theatrical experiences, really. Critic Chris says replacing Jackman is no different from Blade or from Bale beginning as Batman. Yeah. Movie talk now. I'm hoping Wolverine does join the X-Men reboot. He needs to. Aziel, I need the rebooted MCU to make first off an X-Men film that is already established, but on their first years, and then maybe a standalone Wolverine show or mini film or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I think that they should. I've always said this, that the best way to introduce the X-Men into the MCU would have been to make a show, to make like a mutant show, and then, introduce them into the world of the MCU that way, and then bring them into the films. That was always my thought, but yeah, who knows what they're going to do. Movie Talk says, to me, it's like a Justice League film without Batman. Can it work? Yes. It would be better with Batman? Yes. Youssef, I love Hugh, but no, man. I'm sorry, just reboot everything. By the way, someone said to me on Reddit that Pattinson should play a variant of his Batman in the DCU. No. no Pattinson in the DCU. No. Xavier would love to see a collab with Aaron to get both sides of DC. I'm hoping, Xavier. We talked about it. It's a possibility. He and I just need to get together again and talk some more about that. And then after that, he joins them. Critic Chris says, only MCU shows I like most was Loki. Oh, yeah, Loki. I love Loki. I forgot about Loki. Loki was great. And Falcon Winter Soldier wasn't bad. I enjoyed it enough. It wasn't terrible. But yeah, I mean, so if you guys want to talk more about this, throw it in the comments, all that kind of stuff, and we will get to that. Let me move on to the next topic, though, because, we got to get moving with this stuff. Okay, next topic, DC related. This one, though, I'm going to put up a little poll here. So there we go. Starting the poll now. All right. There's a poll in the chat, guys, in the YouTube chat, so make sure you hit that up. So James Gunn will be going to New York City Comic-Con in 2024, and he's bringing Creature Commandos. That's right. He announces he will be attending next month's New York Comic-Con and will be bringing the Creature Commandos animated series with him on Saturday, October 19th. He says, join me, Frank Grillo, David Harbour, Zoe Chow, Sean Gunn, Dean Lorry, and Steve Agee for the Creature Commandos panel, and we'll fill you in on all the details of our monster army and the seeds of the DCU. This is kind of exciting. We're finally going to see James Gunn. That's right. James Gunn is going to be at New York City Comic-Con with the Creature, or part of the Creature Commandos cast. That's exciting. This is going to be something that should be on your list, guys. This is something that you should be marking on your calendar to get excited about, to be ready to watch and find out details, because I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling you this. Not only are we going to find out about things about Creature Commandos, James Gunn is not going to leave that panel without giving us a little information, I bet. And that's what the poll question is. Do you think James Gunn is going to tease or give us just a little something more than Creature Commandos at New York City Comic-Con? Will he make a surprise announcement at Comic-Con in October? Because honestly, I can't see why he wouldn't. Yes, Creature Commandos comes out in December, so that's going to be the bulk of what he talks about, and that's exciting. The more I keep reading up on Creature Commandos and what they're doing there, the more I'm actually getting excited. I wasn't really all that excited about it until a couple days ago, when I really kind of dove into the history about it. There's a reason why I dove into it, so keep an eye out on my channel over the next couple days. But I was really diving into it, and I just saw a comment. I'm going to get to it in a second. But as I'm looking at it, I'm like, this could be a really fun show, and not just a fun show because of the lore, but just a fun show to build out this universe, to build out something different than we've ever seen in a connected universe like this, like Marvel, like DC. And that's what I'm excited about. And the fact that we're a month away, just a little over a month away of this, of really diving in and information finally starting to really come out about the DCU, that's exciting. That is exciting. So where are we at here with this poll? Let me see here. So far, with 15 votes, we got 87% say yes, Gunn will make a surprise announcement. 13% say no. And that's fine. I get that. I get some people are going to be a little hesitant in saying yes. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it makes sense that he would do it. I don't see why he wouldn't. It makes sense. It makes sense. Look, yes, he's going to talk about Creature Commandos, but Superman just ended filming. Supergirl is going to be filming very soon. It's not like I think he's going to say, here's our cast for Batman, or here's our cast for this. But it could be something along the lines of, we're here for Creature Commandos, I know, but, I just finished filming Superman. And just the other day, we were sitting there in the editing room, and John Murphy came to me with this, and they play the theme for Superman. Something like that, I think, could happen. Again, it could be that big. It could be something smaller. I just think he's going to leave fans excited. He has to, and he knows he has to. It's not going to be a trailer. It could just be some little tidbit of information, something to get the fans excited, because Creature Commandos is exciting, but he needs fans to be overly excited for the DCU moving forward. And that is the moment at New York City Comic Con that he's going to start pushing and getting that excitement going. That's my belief. That's what I think is going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to keep the poll up. So make sure you vote on that poll. What do you guys all think, though? Let's hit the comments. Man, I got a bunch here. I might have to skip my next topic here so we have time for everything. The one that I laughed at here was Movie Talk Now. I hope James Gunn's wife is in every DCU movie. Aziel says it would be cool if James revealed a teaser poster for Superman, or maybe actually reveal more cast or some writers. I'm excited about Creature Commandos. Last time I doubted him was Peacemaker, and he shocked me. Yeah, actually, I like the idea for the teaser poster. That's not a bad idea. Teaser poster and a tease for the theme for Superman. That would be cool. I could dig that. Critic Chris, I have no idea who Creature Commandos are, but I wasn't familiar with Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm optimistic. Oh, I didn't press it. There we go. Critic Chris, I'm optimistic about Gunn's DCU. Andrew JD says, I'm hoping Gunn will say something about the rest of Chapter 1 slate, but it feels too early for that kind of announcement. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything that big. I think the bulk of his little panel at New York City Comic Con is going to be Creature Commandos, but he's not going to leave without giving a tease for something bigger, something much bigger about the DCU. Specifically, I think it's going to be Superman related, but it could be Supergirl related because they're ramping up to production starting on that very soon. As the fact that we are going to see Cersei on the first DCU project with a 2006 run-inspired suit and all the lore that Creature Commandos will give to the bigger universe is exciting. Andrew JD loved the animation for Creature Commandos just from the trailer. Xavier, I'm hoping he puts up a little teaser for Superman. Yeah, again, I don't think we're going to get a teaser trailer this early. My belief, and I have a video up on my channel, but my belief is earliest we get a teaser is December, maybe November, but teaser, which would be like a 90-second, no story related items in a teaser, just kind of like, this is Superman, this is Lex, this is Lois, this is what the world looks like, and that's it. No story related items in the teaser, just quick images. That's what a teaser is, just wet your whistle a little bit of this is the world. November, the very earliest, but doubtful. December, most likely. But then a full-length trailer is going to be Super Bowl. NFL's big game, as they call it. You're going to get a little real 30-second commercial. Superman coming July 11th. Full trailer online now. And then everybody jumps online and watches the trailer. Aziel, if he shows the theme, I will lose it, as will I. Critic Chris, yeah, we need a break from Batman. Indeed. Xavier, agree, we got too much Batman. Well, where are we going with Batman here? All right. Movie Talk Now says, I couldn't resist. Yeah, you got me, man. You broke me. You got me. Movie Talk Now, I'm genuinely excited for Superman 2025, however. We all should be. Movie Talk Now. If Adam Warlock's scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is any indicator for how Superman will be, I am pumped. Visually, those scenes were great. Agree. Lee Humphreys, do you think David Cornsweet will be great alongside Christopher Reeve and or Henry Cavill? I think he will be solid. Here's the thing. I am a huge Henry Cavill fan. I am. Unabashedly, I am a huge Cavill fan. And to me, Man of Steel is one of the best, if not the best, superhero film. It is my favorite superhero film. It's going to be hard to top him, but he doesn't have to for me. It just, this movie has to be good. It doesn't have to be better than my favorite movie. If it does do better, great, but it doesn't have to. That's what a lot of people don't understand is, yes, if you love Man of Steel, if you love Christopher Reeve, you can still love those movies. You can still love those characters. This movie doesn't have to be better than that to you. But as long as you enjoy it, as long as it's good, that's a good thing. You know? So for me, do I think he'll be great? I think he'll be really good. I don't know enough about Cornsweet. I haven't watched enough of him. I'm excited to see a new portrayal. I think he has a little more of that charm that Reeve had. I'm not saying that Cavill didn't have that charm. He just didn't get to display it as much in the films. But yeah, I think he'll do fine. I think he'll do fine. And yeah, I'm gonna skip over some of these here. Cozy Line says, Summer of Superman, baby. And one more. Movie Talk Now says, agreed, Slav. Man of Steel is one of the all-time superhero films of all time. It has aged better than any film I can think of. Visually, it far surpasses most recent blockbusters. I agree. All right, I want to move on to this topic here, which is Constantine 2. Constantine 2 producer confirms he has a script, although he's too scared to read. That's kind of weird. Look, I remember a few years ago, there was a lot of talk going on about Constantine 2 happening. And this was even before Discovery took over Warner Brothers and was running the show. And this was even talked about J.J. Abrams possibly, being involved when Bad Robot kind of not took over, but made a big deal with Warner Brothers. And they were going to be doing a Justice League Dark series. There was a whole bunch of stuff. And this was way back then. And there was a talk then that Keanu Reeves and Constantine 2, it was going to happen, and this was going to be a thing, and people were excited. Well, here we are now in 2024, and is it true? Is it really happening? Are we getting Constantine 2 with Keanu Reeves? Wasn't it even like about a year ago, the guy who played Satan the Devil, didn't he even say something on a talk show like, yeah, we're coming up with a script? It's pretty crazy. Now, this is from comicbook.com. The script for Constantine 2 has one of its producers too scared to actually read it. The sequel to the 2005 cult classic film starring Keanu Reeves as a supernatural exorcist John Constantine has been in various stages of development over the years. Several stars from the original Constantine, like Rachel Weisz, Tilda Swinton, and director Francis Lawrence, have addressed returning for the sequel, and producer Lorenzo di Bonaventura has provided updates when he can. While fans wait to see where Constantine 2 falls on DC Studios' priority list, Di Bonaventura gave some details on the cryptic script. He spoke ahead of the release of Transformers 1 and reminded him of our conversation at San Diego Comic-Con, where he revealed that Constantine 2 script was being written. When asked if he had a chance to read the script, he revealed that fear has crept in him from opening it up. He said, it's in my inbox right now, funny enough. I'm too scared to read it, though, he said. I want it to be good so bad. I probably will read it the next few days when I get on an airplane. This is crazy. Like, honestly, if you think about it, this is nuts, because where would it fit in the current DCU slate? Again, I don't understand. This would have to be an Elseworlds project. However, James Gunn isn't very keen on the idea of doing Elseworlds projects right now. So where would this fit? I don't understand or think that this is a good idea. If you've paid attention to my videos or what I've been saying the last few weeks or months, the priority needs to be DCU. 100%. DCU needs to be priority. So doing this to make another Elseworlds story just isn't a good idea. But then there's a part of me that's like, I want to see this movie. I want to see a continuation of that first Constantine, because I do enjoy that movie way more than I probably should. So it's really tough. It is really tough. This is exciting news. I just go back to, why did Warner Brothers, specifically under AT&T, have to just mishandle DC projects and DC properties so poorly during that span of time? Because this could have happened 4 years ago under Walter Hamada. This could have happened back then, but they just handled and mishandled their properties so much. It's just maddening. It's maddening, because this could have happened and it didn't. And man, like I wish this would have happened. This could have been something that happened that back then. Now I think it's less likely to happen. Now, I could be wrong. James Gunn could sit back and say and read this script and say, wow, I like this. This could be one of our Elseworlds projects. And he greenlights it and say it's a $100 million project or a $70 million project, $80 million project. They make it and it gets made and everybody's happy. But I tell you what, how mad would certain fandom be if that happens? Oh, man. That would really, really chap some butts right there, wouldn't it? Oh, man, it would. But let me know your thoughts about all this. I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. What do you guys have to say in the comments right here, though? Let's see. Not much. Nobody really cares about Constantine. That's shocking. Aziel says, based on his past works, do you think James' visual take and style on Superman will be good? I'm pretty sure it will, and even more considering it will be more fantasy focused. I think because, like you said, it's going. This world is going to be far more fantasy based, far more fantasy focused. James' visual style is going to work far better than if it was more grounded. So yes, I think it's going to work a lot better. But don't forget that he is not directing everything. So for Superman, it's going to look like this. But who knows? He may not direct Superman 2. He may not direct Justice League. He may not, he's not going to direct Batman. He's not directing Supergirl. So it's going to be interesting to see how these other directors, these other visual artists come in and put their flair on it, because that's what he wants. He wants these other directors, other filmmakers to put their own feel and flair into the DCU. And that's what I'm really excited to see, because let's face it, Marvel started doing that. Like they did that back like from 2008 to 2012. They didn't really do that. Like every Marvel film pretty much felt like a Marvel film. Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Avengers, they all felt pretty much the same. But come Guardians and then Winter Soldier, they all started it started to feel different. Like, okay, they're allowing filmmakers to do their own thing. But then it started to fall away. Then everything kind of fell back in line. And I think that happened because they used the Russo brothers so much. And then they used the same director for the Spider-Man movies. And it was just like, okay, everything's starting to feel the same again. And that was a problem. So I don't want them to do that, if that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. I don't know if maybe I just went off on a random tangent there. I don't know. All right. What else do we got? Hungry Almighty. When or where do you think we will see Wonder Woman? Gunn didn't debunk on Twitter that Wonder Woman won't appear in the first 3 years of the DCU, and Gunn said that's not true. I couldn't even tell you, man. Could she show up in Superman? Maybe. I don't want her to show up too early, but then again, in the slate that we've seen, with the exception of Paradise Lost, I don't see anywhere else that she fits yet. But that's not all of chapter 1. And there could be projects that he hasn't announced yet that may come out within the first 3 years that, again, we may not know about. So I don't know. Movie talk now. Constantine fans are lucky. He was fantastic in the Arrowverse, and now Keanu Reeves might reprise the classic film. Wow. Agreed. I'm curious to see, this is Azio, I'm curious to see how Greg will adapt Bilkis Elviva. I can't say names. From the comics to big screen, the art is one of the best aspects of Woman of Tomorrow. Yeah, Woman of Tomorrow does have a very interesting visual art style. You're very, very right on that. I hope they don't stay too true to the story, though, because the story is okay. I don't think that story, like, I wouldn't have picked that story for a movie or a series or anything like that. That's just me. Aziel says, yeah, the colors and style felt weird. Everything felt same from time to time. If you're talking about the MCU, yeah. Matthew Goddard, things that will never happen. Henry Cavill returning as Superman or Christian Bale returning as Batman. I'd like to see those movies, but I'm also realistic. Cozy Lying. I'm curious on John Murphy's theme of Superman, as am I. Okay, let's move on to the main topic. We got about 20-ish minutes left in the show here. I'm going to try and get this going here. All right. Here we go. I had a guy on a follower on Twitter, a friend of mine on Twitter, X, sent me this the other night. I think it was Saturday night. He sent me this. It was like, you had to look at this. And I read it immediately and just started busting out laughing. Rumor, Warner Brothers has reached an agreement with Comcast, which will lead to DC productions outside of the DCU with names such as Zack Snyder and David Ayer may be involved. And then you look at the source. It's Cinehouse. First off, that's not a source. That is a Snyder cultist wannabe, wannabe scooper. First of all, get out of here. That is ridiculous. Then it started making its rounds. But here's the original post right here from Cinehouse. Okay, I had to pull it, and this is what he puts. He said, "For followers only. WB's, he doesn't even, come on, he doesn't even, has reached a deal at Comcast to continue in a long-term contract. This will give Max additional support with streaming. It's being said they want alternative DC shows outside of the DCU, and names like David Ayer and Zack Snyder have been mentioned." Okay. First off, this obsession, like I said in the title of this episode, of this live show, this obsession with the SnyderVerse needs to end. It needs to go away. This obsession has led to so much negativity and toxicity. It is absurd. You can love the SnyderVerse all you want. You can enjoy the SnyderVerse all you want. Down in my TV stand, I've got Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League. I've got Suicide Squad. I got them all sitting there in my TV stand. You know why? Because every once in a while I pop them in, I watch them. Not only that, I can jump on Max and stream them there. I got them on my Movies Anywhere. I can watch them anytime I want. Why? Because I enjoy them, and I can watch them when I want. Would I like to see a continuation? Sure, absolutely. Because I enjoyed what Snyder was doing, and that's okay. That's okay. But this kind of stuff here is dangerous, because what you continue to do is you continue to stoke the flames. You continue to give hope where there is no hope to be had. And what happens is you get people, no, this isn't a good example here because this is people making fun of Cinehouse, but you get people who get excited, who, like you see like this, restore the Snyderverse and, praying hands and stuff like that, who get excited and start spreading this information, because this isn't the only place that it was spreading. It is other people sharing this information, spreading it around. You then find people, I saw it on TikTok. Literally, people were talking about this on TikTok the last couple days. You see this on Facebook. You see it everywhere. People are spreading this information like, this is happening. It's going to happen. We're getting the SnyderVerse back. It makes no sense. I say it time and time again. The DCU is building. It's being established. Why would they allow another studio, and we're not going to say another studio, why would they as a studio make a Justice League over here with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, everything here, and put a Batman, Superman over here that are completely different, separate universes, and take away and compete with themselves? It makes no sense financially. None, zero, zip, nada. Why would they confuse the audience? Why would they add that confusion? It makes zero sense. Makes zero sense. All right, what do you guys have to say here? What do you guys have to say? Because I got to see what you guys have to say. Hungry Almighty. You said since you know Hal Jordan. Okay, you're talking about Hal Jordan. You're talking about Green Lantern. Man, you got nothing to say here yet, guys? You got nothing here yet to say? What's going on? I'll go through what you guys have to say. You say, Movie Talk Now says, I bet my left spleen in a Chinese meat market on James Gunn not using any of the past Superman themes in this film. No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. Hungry Almighty says, since we know how Jordan is older in his 40s while John 30s, I'm calling it now. The DCU Justice League will be unlimited lineup of Bat Soups, Wonder Woman, Flash, Wally, Lantern, John, Martian Manhunter, Hawk Girl. I think that's a safe bet. I mean, I think he'll have some oddballs or odd things in there. He'll change things up just enough so people can't say he's just copying Justice League Unlimited. That's what I think. Lee Humphrey says, do you think David Corns Sweat will get an all-new suit that is super, no pun intended, form-fitting at the end of James Gunn's Superman movie? I've said this in the past, Lee. I think that we're going to see at least one other suit in Superman 2025, whether it's at the beginning or the end of the movie. My guess, my gut tells me it'll be at the end of the movie. Will it be more form-fitting? Maybe. The thing that people need to remember when you take a look at films, specifically this film, look at the world. Look at what they're going for with this. Does it need to be form fitting? Is that the kind of aesthetic they're going for? Do they want it to, when they were making Man of Steel, the reason why the suit was so form fitting to Henry Cavill and it showed every, muscle and shape on his body is because Zack Snyder wanted his heroes to feel and look like gods. Like that is what he was going for. That's what he wanted. Specifically in James Gunn's universe, in the DCU, they're not going for that same feel. As well as the world that they're living in, it's not going to have that same kind of aesthetic. So will it need to be form-fitting? I don't think it necessarily will need to be, nor do I think it will fit in to the world that they're living in. So I think in that regard, I don't think it needs to be a thing there. But I do think we'll see another suit. Matthew got it says, the Reeves story and theme can only be used so many times, or am I wrong? Seems like all people know is Superman 78. Critic Chris, it isn't right to endlessly give people false hope of something that's never going to happen. Exactly. Getting back to the main topic here, you're right. You keep giving people false hope. If you take a look, I've been very critical of quote-unquote scoopers, grifters on YouTube, on social media. Specifically somebody like Sil Abdul, who for years would post video after video after video and talking about the SnyderVerse, the SnyderVerse, the SnyderVerse, the SnyderVerse. Every video you would see him posting would be about the SnyderVerse. And don't get me wrong, there was a point in time where I would be on his channel, he would come on my channel, we would bullshit, we would talk. But there came a time where I was like, whoa, man, what are you doing? It's not happening. It's not coming. Where are you getting this information? And he would never divulge that intel. He wouldn't say where he's getting information from. And he would keep saying this stuff and constantly talk about it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Oh, don't you? Oh, I know some things. Oh, just keep your hope alive, guys. It's coming, it's coming. And he would say things like that. But what you're doing is you're constantly leading people on. And then in turn, when it doesn't come, people are getting pissed off and getting angry. And instead of getting angry at Sil, who seems like a nice enough guy, he's got a very friendly personality, and that's why people aren't getting mad at him. They're getting mad at Warner Brothers. They're getting mad at Warner Brothers Discovery. I remember when Discovery took over, Sil was one of the ones like, David Zaslav's our savior. He's going to do it. He's friends with Zack Snyder. He had a meeting with Zack Snyder. All this was going on with Zack Snyder. This and that with Zack Snyder. There was no proof of that. No proof of that ever happening. So when the SnyderVerse didn't happen, people got pissed off at David Zaslav because like, oh, he had a meeting with him, but nothing ever came of it. We hate Zaslav now. We hate Warner Brothers now. We hate Warner Brothers Discovery now. And the toxicity just built from there. And that's the problem. When you do things like this, so over here, do things like this, you just continuously build that animosity towards Warner Brothers that doesn't need to be there because this crap is not real. Mr. Moody says they wouldn't. It's a dumb idea. Exactly. Hungry Almighty says, once I saw Sell the Snyderverse to Netflix, I started laughing at the amount of stupidity. You're right. Matthew got it. Silver Age Superman film and TV are stuck on that. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Xavier says, where did I lost where I was? Of course it's fake. Of course. Cozy Lion, are they going to chase over that Snyderverse dream for the rest of their lives? It's possible. It is possible. But the obsession needs to end. It really needs to end. And It's not going to when this kind of stuff continuously pops up. And the thing is when you call somebody out like this, instead of the fans sitting back and saying, "You're right, this is ridiculous, it's absurd." When you sit there and call this out and say, "This is stupid," like, where does this make sense? Where is this news coming from? Instead of the fans sitting back and saying, "You know what, man, you're right," they get pissed off at people like us for calling how ridiculous this is, and say we're wrong, and then the toxicity just starts. And they get pissed off and they start calling us names and saying, "Oh, the SnyderVerse is coming back." Like, what? Why? Like, why for us calling out something this ridiculous? Why are we getting called? Like, it just makes no sense. Andrew says, "I don't see it happening. Not until we see Elseworld movies before ZSJL 2 and 3. It's not happening at all." Dave Ethan, "If those Snyder Bros keep up the false hope, they might hurt themselves more than they are trying to hurt James Gunn." Yeah, they've already done that. They've already hurt themselves more than they're hurting James Gunn. At this point, they constantly sit here and say that Superman's going to fail, and it's because of the Snyder fans. Superman's not going to fail because of the Snyder fans. The Snyder fans have hurt themselves. More and more people are leaving that fandom. I left the fandom almost 2 years ago at this point because of how ridiculous and how toxic they became. More and more people are doing that. More and more people are seeing that. And it's stuff like this that is causing it. And we have to keep calling this stuff out. And the more we call this stuff out, the more it's going to happen. So we just need to keep calling this stuff out, because the more the people are going to leave it and continue calling and, saying, "No, the SnyderVerse fandom is just ridiculous." Matthew Goddard, "Snyder seemed to want to adapt the Burn Man of Steel, which was modern take on Superman, not Silver Age." Yes. Xavier, "I'm glad you talked about this. It needed to be said." Well, of course it did, Xavier. I mean, come on. Look, here's the thing. I sometimes struggle with main topics for my shows, and I was so happy this came up because I was really struggling for a main topic this week for this Monday, and this popped up. I was like, there's my main topic. Hungry Almighty, "I got friends who are super casuals who like Snyder Vision and wanted to see it continue, and were disappointed that it's not happening. The difference is they don't want DC to fail versus the Snyder cult." And that's another thing. Why does anybody want DC to fail? Here's the thing. If DC fails, we're not getting the Snyderverse at all. You have a better chance of the Snyderverse continuing if the DCU succeeds than if the DCU fails. That's something I think that they don't quite understand. A successful DCU means more money in DC Studios. The more money DC Studios has, the more money and more opportunity they have to explore the Elseworlds properties. If the DCU fails, Warner Brothers Discovery is going to sit back and say, "Look, our DCU property just isn't financially stable. It failed in the DCU, failed from 2014, 2013 to 2024, 2025. It's failing constantly. What's been success? Batman movies. Let's just do Batman movies. All right, let's go." And that's what we're going to get. Like, what do they think is going to happen? "Oh man, DCU failed. Let's call up Zack Snyder. Let's get him in here because 35 fans want that." Like, I mean, honestly, what do they think is going to happen? It's just absurd. Dave Ethan, "You guys heard of Movies TV Mad? He's kind of helping spread the false narrative about James Gunn." Yeah, there's a lot of people on Twitter, people on my comment section here keep throwing names at me of other YouTubers of like, "Hey, this person throws in the narrative." I suggest, look, I learned my lesson with the whole Aaron Fisher thing. I called him out, and I'm going to continue calling out people who spread misinformation, and I will do that. But there's a time and place for it. There's a certain way to do it. So if you guys have proof, evidence, more power to you. You can send that stuff my way. Go over on the X, follow me on X. That's at Slavs Free Talk. You can share the stuff over there to me. Clips of videos, send me the links, show me specifically false information. I'm not going to call somebody out for their opinion. If somebody doesn't like James Gunn, that's okay. They don't need to like James Gunn. But if they're specifically calling or pointing out false information, that is where I will go and say, look, this YouTuber is, this person is stating this and it's wrong. And that's how I'll play it. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this person opinion is wrong and this is wah, wah, wah. No, if they're going to sit there and say, like, James Gunn is only hiring his wife and friends and he's the only director that does it, well, then I'm going to come on stream and say, look, this YouTuber XYZ is wrong in saying this because all these directors do it as well. That's just an example. It's a bad example, but it's an example. So follow me on Twitter. You can message me on Twitter. You can tweet at me, whatever it is. Comment sections in the community on YouTube, wherever it is, you can find me there. All right. Critic Chris, Hungry Almighty, you're talking to Hungry. I'm not even going to read that. When you talk amongst each other, I'm not going to read it. Matthew Goddard, even a Man of Steel 2 would probably flop because it would be connected to a dead film universe. I'd love to own that film on 4K, but it's not real just because one fan wants it doesn't make money. I don't know if Man of Steel 2 would flop. It depends on when it came out exactly, but that's another story for another day. Lee Humphreys, selling the SnyderVerse is like selling a dead horse. That universe is super dead. Why keep eating it and trying to make fake news about it? It literally doesn't make any bit of sense whatsoever. Hungry Almighty, how much money does Superman need to make to be convicted a financial success? I think at least $700 million. Financial success, that all depends on what the final cost of the movie was, which we don't have that figure yet. There's rumors that it cost upwards of $300 million to make production. If that's the case, then you're looking at another 150 roughly for marketing. So then you're looking at what, $450 million all in marketing and budget. So you then want to see double that for it to possibly make a profit. That's not even taking into account the money that the theaters make and back end deals and stuff like that. So at that point, if it was that much, you're looking at needing to make 900 million. But then again, you don't know what kind of discounts they got from the states that they were shooting in and everything like that. So if it was 300 million to shoot, maybe they got some bonuses from shooting in Ohio that took it down to, say, maybe 200 million. Again, my thing with Superman is, yes, they wanted to make money. Okay. They absolutely wanted to make money. Financially, it needs to make money. Every studio wants their movie to make money. I'm not saying it doesn't need to make money. I think anything below 700 million, you start to get worried. 600 million, not good. After that, you're like, oh, not good. 600, 700 million, you're looking okay. Anything above 700, you're comfortable with. The main reason for that is because this movie is not in itself its own movie. It is an investment to the overall universe. It is an investment for the DCU. The general audience, the main audience, has given up on the DCU. Because of that, you need to get them on board again. This is the first film into the DCU. So because of that, you need to get fans on board. So people watch this first movie. Sure, it makes $600-700 million. But the next movie, that one makes 600, 700, 650, 750. Then the next one makes 700, 800 million. And you just kind of go up from there. And that's how you have to look at it. And that's how you have to hope it plays out, because it's more of an investment than an immediate success story. That's how you have to look at it. Critic Chris at Slava just chose to move on, not dwell on things that didn't work out. Movie talk. Don't forget to talk about Joker 2 box office predictions. Your video on this subject made me change my mind about how I think of the film will perform. It was well articulated and you raised good points. Thank you. And that's all I try to do with my videos. I try to raise good points with things. That's what I try to do. So thank you. I'm not going to talk about Joker 2 today, but I will talk about it. It comes out this week. Is it this weekend? I can't even remember now. I think it's this weekend or is it next weekend? What is today? It's this weekend, I think. Cozy line. If you enjoy DC, you should want them to succeed no matter what, not want them to flop. Precisely. Critic Chris, I know the few haters going to see Superman only to have things to slander it on. I mean, people do that with everything. Hungry Almighty, if the DCU fails, then every DC project will all be Elseworlds. Yeah, possibly. Xavier, I wish there was a way to actually stop this fake stuff from coming up. There's no way to stop it, but people just need to be smart. Just be smart. Think. Use your head. That's all. Johnny Dumb Studios. They said names plural, meaning not only them, but people seem to only say them. Pretty much. Matthew got at Man of Steel was incredibly successful. It was the ballooning budgets and actor salaries, and each film earning less on rate of income that turned DCU into a sour subject. Hungry Almighty, James Gunn can literally have a cup of coffee in the morning, and the Snyder Cult will say he chose the wrong flavor. Justice League, Matthew Goddard says Justice League is where it all failed. You can argue studio interference until you are blue in the face, and maybe it was unfair. We will never know if the Snyder Cut would have failed or not. Hungry Almighty, as a DC fan, it just breaks my heart to see how much the general audience don't care about DC. Same. Xavier, the only way to save DC is to keep putting out real hope. You're right. You are right. Start closing up here, guys. Chat. Cut was released and it destroyed the DC film universe, but did they cut their losses? No, they kept making failing movies. It's probably good for a new, fresh start. Agreed. Cozy Lion, you make so many damn good points for DC. No wonder the Snyder fanatics don't want to debate with you. Look, you just have to look at things realistically and not just worry about what your own feelings are. That's the way I say it. You just don't take your feelings out of it and think realistically and think about it like a movie studio and like you would any other movie. Hungry Almighty, based on my experience, there's some hope because I have friends, colleagues, girlfriend, family who asked me about the DCU and they all got excited for Brave and the Bold, so maybe there's hope. Absolutely. Johnny Dumb Studios would like Tom Cruise being in talks to DC as well. That might be a hard get. I know there was a lot of talks years ago for him joining back when Walter Hamada was in charge, and actually I think it was J.J. Abrams who was trying to pull him in at one point in time when Bad Robot had to deal with Warner Brothers. It would be interesting for sure. Would absolutely be interesting. That's right. But I think we've done it, guys. That is the show for today. Thank you so much for joining. It was a good show. Thank you all. Remember, guys, you can become a member of the channel, $2.99 a month. That would help support the channel. Member-only videos. I haven't started doing them because I don't have any members, and I don't want to do members. If I start seeing members, I will start doing member videos. This I promise you. You get free stickers for chats and stuff, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that all works. I made stickers, and you get little like things for your chats. Weird things. I don't know. Have you been members before for YouTube? You get that kind of stuff. I got a merch shop now, so links there for a merch shop, so you can do that. What else do we got? We got, yeah, I don't know. Just a bunch of other stuff. Follow me on the X, on the Twitters, all that kind of stuff. Next show will be this Wednesday. I'm probably going to do it at, I think I'm shooting for 8:30 p.m. Just want to test out. I did 6 p.m. last Wednesday. Had a decent turnout, but I'm going to shoot for later this Wednesday to see if I get a better turnout. That one is not like this show. That one is just one topic for the entire hour. So make sure you come check out that show. I don't know what the main topic or that topic's going to be yet. So, hit me up. Tell me what you want that topic to be, and maybe that's what the topic will be. But I think that's it, guys. I think I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all so much. I see other chats in here. I see some other chats. But thank you guys all so much for watching, partaking in the discussion. It's been great. With all that said, catch you all later.